All right, so there's guys out there who constantly live off other people's approval, right? They may not show it on the outside. They try to act all cool and stuff, but that's what the reality of the situation is. And whenever they go out in the social situation, they're always kind of manipulating themselves to try to get as much approval as possible, right? And they're scared to death of rejection and expressing themselves truly and being vulnerable, right? And these guys don't get anywhere. Whereas there's other guys out there who just express themselves and they are themselves. They are authentic, and these guys seem to be winning in every aspect of life. I'm going to talk about the difference here specifically. I'll talk about my journey and what I had to do to stop hating myself. I've been miserable and hating myself throughout like most of my life, if I'm being honest with you, especially through most of my self improvement journey, which may sound counterproductive or counterintuitive, but I'll elaborate on that. And without further ado, let's dive into it. I remember clearly I was on Tinder, right? And I'm swiping, and I probably used like a boost as well. And I got zero matches, right? Zero matches. And I remember just feeling my heart sinking. And my self esteem already wasn't the best. And that just, destroyed my self esteem even more, right? And this was honestly not an uncommon experience. And this would lead me to get like all pissy and frustrated and start snapping even at people I love, like my parents and stuff, because internally I was just so angry. I had this anger and stuff bubbled up inside because I didn't like myself. My self esteem was in the dumps basically, right? So I was just walking around with this constant anger, and I was on no fap at that time as well. So then, to try to feel better, I'd fap, and then I feel guilty about doing that because, obviously I'm on no fap. You're not supposed to be doing that. So overall, it was just a miserable existence, right? And that's not an understatement. It truly was a miserable existence. Now, back then, right, back then, and for most of my life revolved around avoiding rejection, right? That's what it was. This leads me to point number one, which is it's so important to accept yourself as you are right now. The previous me would hear that, and I would be like, "Oh no, I need to get abs first. Then I'll be cool. Then people will like me." And then I got abs, and well, they helped a little, but not too much change. And then I was like, "Oh, I need money. Then I'll think I'm super awesome." And now I make six figures, and I feel largely the same. Again, not gonna say these things didn't help. They do help, but for the most part, I felt about the same, right? And part of the issue here is these people in the self improvement space who perpetuate these standards. But I was like, oh, top 10 ways to never get rejected. Buy my course on how to never get rejected. Oh, this is what you got to do to reach the top 10% of men. You're a loser otherwise. Like, no, take that thought, throw it way out the window. We don't listen to those people. They put a train of thought on us that doesn't serve us whatsoever. Look, I'm not saying stop improving, right? I'm a big advocate for working hard, always improving. But what I'm saying is accepting yourself right now, at least in my experience, is extremely important because up and until I accepted myself truly and started expressing myself truly, even with the muscle, even with the money, I was extremely insecure still, right? The anxiety, all that stuff was still largely there. It was still largely there because I still basically hated myself, right? And that's what I'm trying to explain. Like, accepting yourself is not some trick. It's not like, oh, like, accept yourself and become top 10% of men or whatever, or accept yourself and everyone will like you. This is not a trick, right? But in my experience, it's helped me a lot in just A, feeling better about life, but also B, just feeling better about myself, which carries over to just about every aspect of life, right? And as far as these self improvement people were like, oh, you got to do this 10, being the 10% of men. First of all, these things are subjective. Self improvement is one of those places where subjective opinions are presented as facts, right? Where it's like, oh, if you make six figures, do this, you're a top 10% man. Otherwise, you're a loser. Like, according to what? According to what? According to some made up standards, right? And then they're going to try to sell you some course on how to be a top 10% man. But anyway, so again, self improvement is one of those places where opinions are kind of presented as facts, right? And the second thing is there's many counter examples to this. One example off the top of my head is Conor McGregor, right? Of course, now all the self improvement guys look at him, oh, this top 1% man, right? But before he was dead broke on government welfare, all that, right? And he accepted himself truly, even back then. If you look at his old interviews, you can just tell that's someone who accepts himself, right? He was expressing himself fully. He was still acting like basically he was a champ already. Right. Yet back then, these self improvement guys look at him, oh, he doesn't even make money, bro. He doesn't. That's not a top 10% man. Like, you get what I'm saying? So, accepting yourself, at least what I found, is super important, super important, right? That's what's allowed me to express myself more fully, and it's allowed me to feel better about myself, and it's helped me greatly in the process of stopping hating myself. And I'll elaborate on that in a little bit. Now, next thing I remember is I was in a car with one of my Tinder dates, right? I just picked her up, and she's sitting on the passenger seat, and we're talking, and anytime we'd make eye contact, I remember my brain would kind of just short circuit because at that time I'd read all these things about, oh, you gotta act like this, you gotta have like the alpha body language, you gotta have all this, and my brain would basically short circuit. Where I was like, I don't even know what the hell to do, right? Like I felt like a NPC, right? And that's the second point I want to make is sometimes again when I was reading the self improvement stuff, it made everything feel like an algorithm, and also an algorithm to achieve something that you don't have. Oh, you're terrible with girls right now, bro. You got to do this. You got to do this. You got to act like this, and then and is or another any other aspect of life as well. Oh, you can't be happy with yourself right now, bro. You need this, this, and this, and then it's always that dangling carrot in front of you, right? And again, for me, first it was abs, then it was money. I got both those dangling carrots, and felt largely the same. Felt very insecure still, right? Felt very insecure still. The point I'm making here is even in those situations, whether social situations, dating situations, whatever. Now I just express my true self, right? I just go put myself out there. So there's a lot less short circuiting of the brain. Of course, I still get anxious and stuff. I've struggled with anxiety since basically the day I was born. So I still have anxiety, still have my insecurities, right? But I don't get into those short circuit moments anymore really, because it's like if I'm feeling anxious and I'll just be like, yeah, I'm feeling anxious right now. Even right now, like as I record these videos, I get nervous, I get anxious, right? I'm feeling anxious right now, but it is what it is. I like doing this stuff, so I continue to make these videos, right? And that leads me to the next point, which is that vulnerability and accepting yourself. This stuff is powerful, right? Some guys will talk about, oh, this is coward stuff, bro. We don't do that. Like, no, take that thought, throw it way out the window. We don't listen to those people. They put a train of thought on us that doesn't serve us whatsoever. Look, expressing my true self and being vulnerable has really made me realize that I wasted. Now, I hate to say wasted because I think everything is a learning opportunity, right? So I don't like looking back at life like, oh, that was a terrible time. Like, everything's a learning opportunity. But I look back at my last 5+ years of self improvement. And through most of it, again, I've avoided expressing my true self, like been scared to death of rejection. And that's actually led to great hindrance in my self improvement progress, right? One example I can give, on top of these dating examples, by the way, because my dating life still is like not the best. Like I have a lot more dating experience than I did when I first started, but still I want to improve it quite a bit more. And the reason I don't have as much experience as I want right now is because I've avoided putting myself out there for so long. Same with my social life, and I'm working on these things now. But again, one quick example I can give is fighting, right? I've always felt more timid, so never quite felt like I was the fighting type. And say fighting came up in a conversation or there was an opportunity to fight, boxing, martial arts, whatever, I'd constantly kind of shy away, right? And not really participating in that conversation because I was like, oh, if I participate in this, oh, well, will people think I'm tough enough to do this, or will they laugh or whatever? Now I'm just like, yeah, I want to do boxing, I want to do martial arts. I go and do it. I've already had one boxing fight. I'm sure I'll have many more, right? And if there's like a conversation around fighting, I'll jump in on that. And again, I just express my true self. Doesn't mean that maybe I jump into a conversation, maybe someone does laugh, maybe someone's like, oh yeah, what do you know about fighting? You don't look like you can fight. It doesn't matter. I'm not interested. The main point I'm making is now that I've accepted myself and now I put my true self out there. Now I'm not manipulating every aspect of my being to gain maximum approval. That's not the game, right? Now I'm just expressing my true vulnerable self, and that came through self-acceptance, right? And now that self-acceptance came through. I've shared this mindset many times on my channel. I'll share it again because it really has helped me out. Is understanding that whether someone loves you or whether someone hates you is of equal importance, which is ultimately little to no importance, right? Whether people like you or predispose well to you or not, it depends so much on their background, their biases, and a million and one different things, right? And ever since I've recognized that and really started internalizing that, again, I put my true self out there. I started to accept myself a lot more, from the quirks to the weird parts about me to the cool parts about me, everything, right? Because another thing that has really helped me, which I hope will help you as well, is understanding that you're a human being at the end of the day, right? You're not perfect. Any venture you take, again, whether it's improving your dating life, improving your social life, yes, you will face rejections. Trust me, I've wasted the past 5 years constantly avoiding rejection, constantly being in my own shell, right? Because I was deadly scared of it, and still I don't love it, right? I'm not one of those people. I know some people are like, oh, rejection, you should learn to love it, bro, because no, I still don't love it. I hate it every time it happens, right? But it's just a part of the process. It's a non-avoidable part of the process, right? Because trust me, if there was a way to avoid it, I would take that route in a heartbeat. I'd be like, I don't love getting rejected, but again, it's a non-avoidable part of the process. And you got to recognize you're imperfect. Any new venture you take on, or any venture you take on, whether it's improving your dating life, improving your social life, becoming a better fighter, becoming a better coder, I don't know, whatever it may be, right? You'll fail 1,000,001 times, right? It's just a part of the process to getting better and seeing results, right? So those two things, understanding again whether someone loves me, whether someone hates me, is of little to no importance, and also understanding that you can't shy away from these negative experiences. They're inevitable. They're inevitable. There is no way to improve without facing these negative experiences, right? They are a necessary part. They are non-negotiable. They are unavoidable, right? So that's what's truly helped me, and all these things have helped me again put my true self out there and accept myself a lot more. And I just want to end this video off by saying, hey, be kind to yourself throughout this process. Look, my background was throughout most of my self-improvement journey. Again, I've been scared to death of rejection, constantly manipulating every aspect of my being, trying to get others to like me, constantly filled with anxiety, and especially social anxiety. Struggled a lot with that, right? And I, I want to give the best advice that I can give. And again, it's not like I know everything or I'm some genius, right? Like I'm still learning, but I want to give the best advice that I can give to hopefully help you avoid some of those pitfalls, right? So recognize right now, if you're anything like the old me, the main thing I want to say to you is one, this stuff is a lot less scary than you think it is. A lot less scary than you think it is. Everything from putting myself out there in dating situations, from social situations to my first boxing fight. In my mind, I basically created a mental hell for myself where I would overblow this shit way out of proportion. Oh my god, this fight, what's gonna happen? And will people laugh? And it, like, I had my first boxing fight, I lost. I lost pretty badly too, to be honest with you. And if anything, I got more respect from the people around me. And to this day, I cherish that experience. It was an awesome experience. I'd love to do it again, right? And similarly, anytime I put myself out in dating situations, in my mind, I blow it out of proportion. Like, oh my god, what's gonna happen? And am I gonna get rejected? And people yell at me, like, So this, your mind is blowing things way out of proportion, right? It's making it seem like it's gonna way worse stuff is gonna happen than will actually happen, right? So just keep on putting yourself out there, keep on showing up, right? Keep on being vulnerable, keep on putting the hard work and whatever it is you want to improve in, day out, day in, day out. And I guarantee you, you'll see results, and in no time, you'll get the results that you want, right? Now, I just want you to imagine for a second, imagine you take this advice, you run with it, and your dating life is improving day by day by day, right? You put yourself out there constantly, and now the goal is not, oh, how can I make this girl like me as much as possible? The goal is, okay, do we mesh together? Is this someone I would want to be with? Is there a good connection here? So your dating life is improving day by day by day. Again, not about quantity, but about quality. You're building quality relationships, right? Similarly with your social life, it's improving day by day by day, because again, it's not a game of approval anymore. It's about finding people you genuinely get along with, who support you in life, who you can trust with, your your dark side, your secrets, all that stuff, right? Supportive people. And most importantly, I want you to imagine that you put yourself out there constantly, and now you're doing things in life you wanted to do. Whether maybe you wanted to pursue YouTube, maybe you want to go out and pursue a martial art, maybe you want to take public speaking, whatever it may be. You've understood this, you've applied it, you've put yourself out there. Hell, maybe you took your first public speaking class and you were shaking in your boots, voice stuttering and sweating head to toe, but you still went out and did it. You did it day in, day out, day in, day out. And 3 months later, 6 months later, you're noticing major improvements, and you're super proud of yourself, right? And your confidence is again improving day by day by day. Imagine that. And that's the path you're on. Hey, keep working hard. I believe in you, but what I believe doesn't matter. What you believe matters. So I hope you believe in yourself too. And that's all I got for this video. Thank you so much for watching. Ultimately, I want this to be our positive little community where we help each other, support each other, and help each other get to the next level in life. So please come join the community. I'll leave my Instagram, TikTok in the description, also somewhere here. Please do support there as well. Please do like, comment, subscribe, just to be transparent with what I'm trying to do here. Is, I like my job. I have a good job, but I really want to take YouTube on full time. As I've started doing this stuff, I found a passion for it. With my job, it's like it's good money, all that, but the passion isn't quite there. So as I started doing this, I found the passion for it. I'd love to take this on full time, get some money coming in so I can hire some editors and stuff. So it's not just me, talking straight for 13 minutes. So please do like, comment, subscribe, support. That'll all help make my dream a reality. And I'll talk to you later. Peace.